about myself. That's good. 12. So let's start. Okay, so flexibility, the designer's attitude. What does it mean? I know that you are thank you, Mahmoudi. I know that you are always working on your projects, that you are sketching, that you are trying all the time to improve, and this is excellent. And that's exactly what you should do. And I know that by doing that, you try your best so that you can improve your sketching, your skills, and make a better design, and most of all, transfer your ideas that you have in your head onto the paper, or whether it's gonna be digital. And you're gonna do that simply because you are improving. So the more you improve, the better and the easier it will become for you to take your ideas and put them on paper. And you make your project. And that's exactly what we want, and that's what I want for you. At the same time, when you are doing that, you are very much concentrated on yourself. So you are within your thing, you know. Hubert, can you recommend up the best Italian food, please? My teacher, Bruno Des, wow, interpretation design, UCAM University, Montreal. All right, I'm gonna tell your teacher that my boss is from Canada, Louis Moras. And maybe I have to ask to Louis if he knows this university. Bruno Des. Okay, Bruno, thank you very much. Well, I will tell you what I cooked today for my friends. I did some excellent spaghetti, Italian spaghetti with clams, okay? And we had a really good lunch. So tell him that that's what I made. Spaghetti with vongole. I'm gonna write down to you so you can read and show him. All right? I wrote it for you so you can read it. UCAM University. I'm gonna write down this name, and I'm gonna ask my boss, because he went to industrial design school in Canada, so he must know. UCAM University. All right. Bruno is your teacher, Bruno Des. Okay, I wrote it down. Anyway, grazie to Bruno, okay? So please let him know. I'm very happy, I'm very glad, and I hope that that for you in this school everything is good for you and with your teacher Bruno. Okay, so we were talking about flexibility. So when you are doing your best in order, you're welcome, Hubert. Ciao Andrea! Okay, bravo Andrea, bravo. I read your message. Bravo. Very good. SPD, Milano. So if you want, I can talk to Michele Leonello if you need. Okay, just let me know. All right. Ciao Vicas, such a long time. How are you? Yeah, it's been a long time. All right. So it's your final year. I'm very happy for you. Very proud. Very good. Bravo. Good. So Vicas, today we are talking about flexibility, which is a very important, element that every designer, whether you are a graphic designer, industrial designer, car designer, every one of us should have in our head, okay? It's an attitude. And it is very important I was away from the internet for some days. Good to see you back. Very, very happy. Thanks for being back with us. And today's topic is flexibility. Flexibility is very important for any designers. Okay? So I was saying that when you are at home working on your project, working for your school, working for your portfolio, you are very much concentrated on yourself, because you are concentrated on your project for your portfolio, and therefore for the best you can do for yourself. And when you are young, you don't know what does it mean to work with other people. And when you work in a design studio, those that had already an internship understand me for sure. In reality, you know that when you are working with other people within a designer's family, which is a design studio, you are not anymore working for yourself. You're working for the team. You're working for the project. And you're working for the best thing you can do for the company. So there is a completely different perspective. And this is very important. So today, I would like to let you know that you must, if you don't have it, but if you have it, it's much, much better for you. It's gonna be much easier for you to acquire the flexibility in your mental approach to be a designer within a design studio. And this will help you also for your private life, for the things of everyday's life, whether it's gonna be with your kids, with your brothers and sisters, with your parents, with your friends, society. Because flexibility, it means that you listen. It means that you are humble. And especially the beginning of your car designer career or designer career, whether you are an industrial designer, for example, let's imagine that you are working at Sony, or that you are working at Apple, or other big companies or medium companies for about industrial design. You're going to be facing the same situation, the same experience. You're going to be projected into an environment where you will, for the first time, you will learn what does it mean to take some, how can I say, some risk, but at the same time, negotiate. And the negotiation means that you have to give up some of what you want to do. And learning how to give up in a way that is a win-win situation, and this is important, it's gonna make you grow as a professional. It's gonna make you become more mature in your head, wiser person, okay? And therefore, you can be somebody that can grow in career, in designer career, and go into management. Because a lot of people, when they start being a car designers or designers, they are very happy, of course, because they finally are car designers. And I was too when I was at the beginning of my career. But at the same time, you have to realize that you don't have just the car designer career, because you start working, but you will have almost 40 years of work ahead of you. So what the hell are you gonna do after? And because you're working in design, you have to think about how you want to grow within this design field. Are you gonna be a car designer all of your life, just like designing? There are people doing that. Are you willing to grow more as a designer and then lead design and then design manager? Or maybe design director, why not? Just for example, the type of career I did and I'm doing, even if I don't have many extra years in this field, because I am 58, therefore it means that I'm almost at the end of my career. But still, So you have to think about it. And one of the best quality that you can acquire, you can learn, or maybe you already have it, you don't know yet, and it's going to come out by working, is how to be flexible. Because being flexible means to become a wise person. It is a little bit like in politics. In politics, the good politicians are those that are able to make the good compromises at the right time, in the right measure. Because in that way, they can gain something, even if they are giving something or giving up something. And in car design, it's the same thing. And it is the same thing already when you are just a simple designer at the beginning of your experience. And therefore, as I said last Friday, when we were talking about people, they are stubborn. People stubborn, and it's not good. We don't need those type of people in a design team, because there are so many changes that are required, sometimes in a sudden way. Let me give you an example. Imagine that you are working in a design studio for a major car company. And then there is a change of big manager. Where is your super top design director, or even your CEO? You know, the president of the company. And then let's imagine for a second that the big president of this company, he's an ultra passionate about car design. Therefore, because he's the president, what does he do? He will come to design, talk to designers and the design director and say, hey, now I am the big boss. I really want to make super emotional, good designs. Because our company, the company I rule now, has to stop making those designs that are useless. I want some really hot designs, and we're gonna make a new gamut of lineup of cars, and the next 10 years everybody will be talking about us. So when you are into this scenario, you find yourself in a very exciting scenario, because you have the chance that the super big boss loves design and is forcing design to do at their best their job, so that the products, which are the cars that company will produce, will be more appealing, sexy, trendy, emotional. So from a designer point of view, this is fantastic, because it's exactly the dream of every design director, to have a big boss that understands design, supports design, and uses design to make excellent products. So what you know, if I think about my life in terms of designer, I cannot forget the period I had as a director, Mr. Chris Bangle. Because Chris was like that. He won emotions. And we had at that time in Fiat a big, important CEO that was thinking the same. So the two were really like sparring partners. And therefore, everything we were doing was much more important than it was once those two people went away from Fiat. Because that's life. People go away. That's fine. Chris Bangle went to BMW and made BMW what BMW is today. So you can understand, you know, that period was magic, because we knew that every line, every model, every presentation was extremely important. Almost more important than the engineering department was doing for that same project. So if you are in that context, and I really hope you will find yourself in that context, because it's beautiful, it's very exciting, then you are also exposed to a lot of changes, which means you must be flexible. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself why. But it's very simple. You make a presentation, okay? The big CEO, the big president, he comes in for the presentation because he wants to put his nose into what design is making for that project. Because he feels very close to design. Because he wants to support design. Therefore, he comes to the presentation and he watches, he looks at your model. Now, what's gonna happen? Hey, Eshen, ciao to you. Welcome back. But it's very simple. What's gonna happen is that he's gonna ask for some modifications because he has to feel that project. And if there is something wrong, he's not gonna say, I'll let you do because you are the expert in design and I am not. No. Because he's so much involved with design and the emotional thing that design can produce, he's gonna say, I'm sorry, I don't think that this model, I can sell it. Therefore, I need you to change this and that because it's not convincing. So the request is coming from the very top of the company. And of course, what can you do? It's normal. Everybody's gonna become very agitated, very nervous, very stressy. Normal. And everybody go back to the model. Let's change. And you cannot change a model just by modifying by your hands on the clay model. You have to sketch again. Therefore, it comes down to the designers and to the design managers and the design director. Ciao, Signation. Ciao. So everybody is under big stress and everybody has to find the good solution to respond to the CEO request. So can you imagine that scenario? That's excellent. Personally, I like it. I love it. Because if you have a big boss that feels that design is so important to sell cars, that's exactly what every car design should have. Now, of course, the big boss is not a designer. I know. Therefore, he might say things that you say, what the hell is asking us? That's normal too. So don't worry about that. The most important is that you have from the top somebody that instead of talking about the section, how much it costs, and stuff like that, which are really cold-bloody topics, you have somebody that says, I know that if the design is the right thing, we're gonna sell it and we're gonna make money. Therefore, it becomes very emotional and not bloody cold. So when you're in that scenario, you have to take advantage of that. But to stand in that scenario, to make sure that you can perform really well and go back and sketch again, and produce in a very short time, because the timing becomes shorter and shorter, and change that model so that to the next presentation will be probably in 3 weeks. We have a good proposal to make that is better than before. Then you have to be flexible. You cannot go back once he goes away and say, oh shit, I am really mad because this guy is asking us to change something that I believe was already perfect. Well, that's the wrong attitude. The good attitude to say, okay, you are challenging me. Well, I take that challenge. I'll do it. No problem. I give you a different idea according to what you said. You gave me a feedback. I listen to your feedback. I react. And when I do it better. So that when you go to the next step of the presentation, The big man comes back, and of course he's gonna be happier. He's gonna say, it's better than before. That's the right thing we have to do. And I tell you those things because this happens to me already 3 times during my designer career. Big people, important people that are so passionate about car design. But to be honest, in reality, those people are designers that did not have the chance to go to the design school. And they did something else. But they are so attached to that feeling, to that emotional thing of design, that once they get such important position in a company, like a global car design company, automobile company, like for example the one I'm working for, like those people really, before talking to the engineering about the cost, savings and all that stuff, they want to make sure they have the right design to start with. So design becomes almost more important than everybody else. And this is great for us. But this means that we must be flexible. Flexible. Humble. Flexible. We did something that we like it. Good. Somebody comes in and says, I'm sorry, it's not perfect. It's not right yet. Well, then we must be humble to go back to sketch, to modify that model and to present it again. And of course, the timing, the planning to go to production is always the same. Therefore, that means that it creates a problem about how much time we have left. I know that, but we have to run. And it's during those moments, those days, that we show how much talent we really have to answer with the right speed to the request, even if that type of request is provoking a big problem for us. Ciao Vedant, I see you are here, I'm very happy. Please let me know if after this live we will be together or not, okay? Because I didn't receive any email, okay? Please let me know. Thanks, and see you later. Okay, the proportion, different perspective. 27 Zayn Mukri. It's not the moment to talk about design sketching. Sorry, that's the Tuesday. Come back on Tuesday, okay? On Tuesdays we talk about that, and I will tell you, okay? Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Tuesday, same timing like today. All right, so anybody has any question about this topic I've been talking today? Please, if you have any questions, let me know. I know that there are some of my colleagues, also when I was in Fiat, that they were very mad about that. Because they said, it's not possible, we worked so hard, this man comes in, and in 2 minutes, he destroys all the work we have done in the last 3 months. But hey, welcome to reality. I say, welcome to reality. It's exactly what happens. And there is another thing that we have to consider. That every product can be better. Everything you do can be better. So what's the problem? In my opinion, it's almost normal that something like that happens. Imagine that when I was working in Renault at the Advanced Design Studio, where we used to make running prototypes with design to experience some new technologies, like the Twizy, that then became a production car, okay, the electric car, Twizy. You know, we used to have the same thing, all right? The same thing. And for us it was normal. And those were not projects that were going into production. They were just studies, projects to try to anticipate how it's going to be the future, you know, or what we could propose for future models in terms of technology and design. So can you imagine a real production project where the design manager is a design production manager and the design director has responsibility for the design that will go into production? So over there, of course, there is a bigger attention. It's normal. Vedant, thanks. I received it. So I know we're gonna be meeting later. All right? So once it's finished this slide, we will be together. Yes, I am available, Vedant. I just got your payment. Thank you very much. Say thank you to your dad for me. Okay, let's see Syed. If I have proper knowledge about the technical and functional aspects of the car, will it reduce the production cost and make my design better? This is something, Syed, that can count, but not very much, for a very simple reason. Because you are paid to be a designer. You are paid for your creativity. And there is a whole team of engineers that will be thinking about that. All right? So don't worry about that. Don't worry too much. Now, I want to give you an example about myself, because I am somebody that did not go to engineering school. I went to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. So I was 4 years studying at university car design, not engineering. But I can tell you something, that doing so many production projects, of which some of with my design, I learned so much in terms of engineering and cost efficiency that today, when I am into the big meeting, ciao Patricio, come estás? ¿Cómo va la vita in Barcelona a lo IED? Please let us know if everything is fine with you over there, if you like it, most of all. Okay, so this is something that I learned because I was very curious, because I know that design, it's not just creativity, it's how to put the creativity for the best use of functionality, cost efficiency, and timing. I know that. And as a design manager, I'm responsible for that. So I know. But it's not extremely important, because you have you have an engineering production project manager that will have at least 10 young engineers that are paid for that. Okay? So how designers have to deal with the engineers to appeal their design? What if they try to mess with it? Juan Pablo Montoya. No, I don't think so, Signation. I don't think so. Patricio, I don't think he had just the same last name. I thought the same thing, Patricio, but I don't think he does. So does working as a team disturb a single person creativity, or does it enhance it? Or in any way disturb or hamper speed and quality in any way that... No, Vedant, when you work in a team, it's a great opportunity to grow all together, because car design is a team job. It's not one person job. The one-man show does not exist. If there is somebody out there telling you that this one-man show, I made the design, I designed that car, it's simply not true. It was almost true in the 60s, in the 70s, early 80s, because car design studios were very small and people from design schools were very few. Therefore, we had the big maestros of design, like in Italy, like Giugiaro, Pininfarina, Zagato, all those Bertone, all those big people. But if you go to America, they already had lots of designs in their studios. Already in the 50s and in the 60s, they had design team projects. And today in Europe, in China, and also in India, we have designers team. So it's not anymore like in the 50s, okay? So don't worry about that. how designers have to deal with engineers. Okay, talking about the dealing with between engineers and designers. I deal with engineers almost every day on my projects. And of course, I know that we make a sketch, we make an intention design orientation, which means that it has a strong or sometimes light impact on the architecture of that car, which is what the engineers make, okay, in terms of platform, ergonomics, engine placement, wheelbase, height of the car, length of the car, and stuff like that. So when we make our design proposal, sometimes those dimensions have to change, because what they do sometimes are not correct in terms of proportions, because they do it according how technical things can be put together, but design does it according to how design looks good, and therefore proportions, which is the first thing. So when we do that, we have the designers designing and the design manager like me taking that design, defending that design, and proposing to engineers modifications. And that's when my knowledge in terms of technique and engineering comes out, so that I can sort of speak the same language, and the other person on the other side, the engineering, he understands. He cannot just tell me, oh, I'm sorry, we cannot do that. It just doesn't work that way. So we work together, and I have to admit that engineers are very open to listen and see what they can do to modify their technical package so that it can be close as possible to the design intention sketches. I hope I answered. Patricio, lots of yet homework. Yeah, good. I love each homework. Great. Always challenge me to improve my creativity. By the way, sorry to interrupt you. No, don't worry. Patricia, I'm very happy for you. Very, very happy. And I repeat, if you see Alessandro Manetti, the CEO of your school, say hello to him from me, okay? Alessandro Manetti, that I'm sure you know now, because you are in his school. Alessandro was my ex-boss when I was teaching at IED in Torino. We were both, doing good things, excellent things in Torino at that time. It was the late 90s. Okay, any other question? Because we got 5-6 more minutes. Anish, what according to you is an emotional design? Emotional design is something that is touching your heart. It has to touch your heart. You see it and you say, holy shit, I love it. That's an emotional design. And for cars, it comes first about proportions. So when you have incredible proportions, new proportions, or very good proportions, got it. I'm gonna send your greeting. Thank you, Patricio. Gracias. Muchas gracias. And say hello to Barcelona for me. Beautiful town. Beautiful town. And so the emotional design is something that starts from proportions. Are you able to make a new proportional, to create new proportions? Because that's the first thing that every designer would like to do. That's why I tell you, we receive a package, technical package, but basically what do? We just change it. Not very much, but we do it a little bit, because we needed to inject the DNA, for an emotional, a more emotional design proposal. And that means that, I don't know, for example, windshield that is a little bit more inclinated, lower car, wider, bigger wheels, long nose, short overhang, depends on the project. But when you do that, automatically you touch and you force the technical package to be modified. So that's about Anish questions answer. Eshan, which all cars did you produce as a team, as a design manager. Okay, I will write down Fiat. I start with Fiat, of course. Fiat 698. Okay, that's my first baby. Then Renault Kangoo 2 in Renault. Then I did the Dacia Solenza for the Romania. Then Renault Twizy, the electric car. And then the Jinbei in China. That was for China 2 years ago. Jinbei Heise King, which is an LCV. Okay, and now I'm working on 3 projects that are going to go very soon into production in a couple of years. And then I did a concept car, which was the Renault, what was the name? The Renault, Hippie Caviar Hotel. You can find all those on Google, and you will find them. Okay. And other projects that for which I cannot talk about because they are secret. Okay, of course. All right. So I hope I answered to your question, Mr. 27. What parameters changes are being made to design? But the changes, sometimes we make something that when you go and check it out, in reality, it's more costly. Okay, so it costs too much money. And therefore, because we have a briefing, that means also a cost, a fixed cost for that project. We cannot exceed that cost. Therefore, as designers, we have to go back. We know which is the part that is provoking an extra cost, and we have to work on it so that we can reduce that cost. Now, I am sure you're asking yourself, yeah, what does it mean? If what you did is so expensive, what can you do? There are things we can do, always. For example, sometimes it is enough simply to change a cut line. A door that is smaller is less expensive than a door that is longer, for example. A bumper that is lower, a bumper, plastic bumper, is cheaper than a bumper that is a cut line very high. And it is very simple, because when we talk about dimensions of parts and materials, means we are talking about technology that are associated with those type of parts. So if you make some parts that are smaller, the tooling of those parts will be smaller, and therefore the cost will be cheaper. You understand? And it is cheaper to reduce what is made of plastic than what is made of steel, because steel is cheaper. So you can have a big part in steel, but if you have a big part made of plastic, and after you have to paint it, that will be more expensive. Okay, I hope I gave you an idea. If you're working in Renault, still please, yes, I'm working in Renault. Please request them to update the Duster and put a diesel engine in the Renault Triber. Well, about Dacia Duster, you will find lots of new things coming out soon, and you will be happy. What type of design do you think are revolutionary? Okay, for example, I don't know if you have internet under your hand, but look at this Fiat Coupe in I think was 95. Check that car. Check that car. Fiat Coupe 95 with Chris Bangle. When we were in Fiat, I was there too. That one was something. That car was revolutionary according to Fiat and to what Fiat was doing at that time. Hello sir, good evening. How are you doing? I'm fine, Arvin. I'm fine. What about you? You welcome 27 Zain Mukri. Mukri, where are you from? I mean, your name maybe it's from Morocco. Am I wrong or am I right? Let me know. I'm curious to know. Where are you from? Okay, guys. 2 more minutes. Anish, since there are many companies that produce cosmetic equipment like spoilers, okay, so tune up stuff. Do you know how the design process actually works in such an industry? I was really curious to read. Okay, the design process is very similar. But of course, what do they do is with shorter timing, because those parts are smaller. They take a real car and then they make all those parts on top of a real car. So they create those kits, you know. Thank you. So they make those kits, okay, to sell. Whether they do it for a company, like in Germany, for example, when we did the Fiat 600 Sporting, I write to you here, go and check the image. 600 Sporting. Check that car. That was my baby. And all the extra parts, Anish, that you just wrote about, I made it on a clay model in Germany with a small company, Zender. The company is called Zender. And they made those with fiberglass. Different type of technology, much faster. When you do things in fiberglass means that you are going with a technology for only 2,000 up to 5, almost 10,000 parts per year. So small production, all right? And they are a little bit expensive. But those are for specific cars, like sports cars, for example, okay? So with the Fiat 600, we made a whole kit that I sketched, and then I went to Zender because Fiat gave to Zender the contract to make the parts. And because I was the manager and the designer, I went over there. They made a clay model up with my sketches, and at that time we were not working with computer, not yet. So I was making the clay model with the clay modelers. It was beautiful. Then they made the tooling out of the clay model, and then they made the parts. And that's how we made that Fiat 600 Sporting. The design process is very similar, but it's very short. Because this is something you can do in 3 months, in 4 months, no more. Okay? So there's a huge difference in terms of timing. The reason why I want to become a designer is, like you said, that's my baby. Thank you, Arvin. Were you in Renault when they rolled out the Clio V6? Signation. You have to tell me the year, because I'm in Renault since the year 2000, okay? 2000, that's my year. I am in Renault since 2000, so I don't know. You have to tell V6. I think it was before. I think it was just before. Okay, so now there is Vedant waiting for me, because in 3 minutes I had to switch with my online course. All right. So thank you very much for being with me, Patricio. Well, Mister. To finish some homework, cause tomorrow I want to go to Automobile Barcelona car show. All right, take care. Ciao, Patricio. Have fun to the Automobile Barcelona car show. Okay, take pictures and show us on internet. And about you guys, thank you very much for being with me. Don't forget that Tuesday we will be here sketching like all the time, and next Tuesday I will be sketching with my iPad. I hope you're gonna enjoy that, and I hope you are curious enough to see how the hell I'm working with Procreate. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. Ciao, Anish. Ciao. Bye bye. Have a good weekend. Bye.